Emotions are real. I don't know what that means, but I felt like I had to try and tie it in. I failed. But even if you're meant to be conveying happiness, sometimes sadness shines through, and vice versa. It's just how the body works. It is not all that great when you are on live TV, though. So hello, I am Simon from What Culture. This is 10 times WWE stars broke Kayfabe with real emotion. Number 10, Austin Aries at Extreme Rules 2017. Austin Aries was always going to have a WWE run at some point, but there was a question mark hanging over this. How would he react in that sort of environment? As we know, it's a very controlled stage, and Aries was known for being quite the firecracker. You can see where this is going. After a spell in NXT, he was brought onto the main roster as part of the revamped Cruiserweight division, and engaged in a feud with Neville. It was pretty good. The story was Austin trying and failing to win this title, with his last attempt happening at Extreme Rules 2017. One of the reasons for this was he was leaving the company. Yep. He was done. Whether he knew this or not, who knows, but the rumor was a lot of people backstage were done with his nonsense, so they didn't want to factor him into any future plans. Now you know this, go and look at his face after the 3 count, however. That little smile tells you all you need. I think Aries knew what was coming, and in this fleeting moment, it all came out. Whoops. Number 9, Caitlyn on Raw in August 2012. 2012 could have been a banner year for the women's division. While WWE was still obsessed with nonsense such as bra and panty matches, there was a group of women who could go. Michelle McCool, Beth Phoenix, AJ Lee, Natalia, and many more. Caitlyn fit that bill too and could have had a proper good run had she been given the freedom to do so. She also went after the Divas title in 2012 as she tussled with Layla, which led her into a battle royal to determine the number 1 contender. Our hero was able to win when she eliminated Eve Torres, leaving Layla totally shocked for some reason. But the oddest spin was Caitlyn looked totally perplexed too. Not really sure that's how somebody who gains a victory celebrates. And do you want to know why this was? Well, it was all very real. Caitlyn wasn't meant to win, so she was genuinely terrified that when she got back through the curtain, she was gonna get fired. Thankfully, Vince McMahon just laughed it off and they decided to go with it and see. That's not exactly how he reacted when John Cena and Batista screwed up. I tell you though, how do more battle royals not go awry? Must be quite hard to hold onto the top rope when you're really, really sweaty. Number 8, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit at One Night Stand 2005. If you were an ECW fan, this event was everything. Not only was WWE going to pay homage to Extreme Championship Wrestling, but they were going to do it right. Hammerstein Ballroom, all the desired wrestlers, that ECW feel. It was so damn good. It's why we got Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit, as they had made their mark in the promotion, and the match was fine. For anybody else, that would have gone unnoticed, but yeah, given who was involved, maybe they hadn't met the expectation that was out there. Turned out, though, there was a reason these two had fallen out backstage. Eddie also wasn't that happy that he had to go out there and then work, and he got more annoyed when the crowd sort of took over and chanted terrible things about Lita, who had nothing to do with any of this. If you do go and watch this now with that in mind, though, it does feel like Guerrero is holding back a bit, with Benoit calling him out on it mid-match. Even when Eddie taps to the crossface at the end, they stare at each other. Man, Chris looks furious. I swear Guerrero even says to Benoit that I owe you one, but still. Rumor mill insists they didn't speak for a while after this. Really did go a little bit over the top. Number 7, Alicia Fox on Raw in August 2016. Wrestlers love to beat each other up backstage. Kinda nuts when you think about it, because if they just showed some patience, they could literally go into the ring and smack someone under the rules of the sport. But nope, they're so mad an assault must happen right now. Alicia Fox didn't seem to know this because it all went bad when she started feuding with Nia Jax. This meant they did come to blows in the hallways behind the curtain, and yet when Fox threw an empty box at Nia's head, which surely can't have hurt, she quite clearly hesitated before worrying this may have been a bad idea. I mean, Alicia is basically saying, "I'm sorry," with her eyes. Jax actually handled this well as she just grabbed Fox and threw her into a table before we got back to the story. So of course Alicia had a tantrum. I do love this though, because imagine it had been a chair. What on earth would have happened then? Pretty sure if you are going to do predetermined fighting, you can throw a box at someone. Number 6, Papa Shango at WrestleMania 8. One of the most infamous mistakes in WWE history. This is just great, because Papa Shango forgot he was meant to interfere in the WrestleMania 8 main event. I don't get how that happens. On this night in 1992, Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice went to war in what was meant to be the end of Hulkamania. And of course, Hogan found the will to drop the big leg, and Sid kicked out at 2. Now, I need to stress, this didn't happen even at Mania. if Hulk smashed his hamstring into your face, you were done. As it turned out, Sid had no choice because, yep, Papa Shango was meant to break up the pin, and yet he was nowhere to be seen. That would have caused a DQ finish and the return of the Ultimate Warrior, but again, there was no Papa, so manager Harvey Wimpleman had to cause the disqualification, and all of this fell apart so fast. I suppose at this point somebody had found Shango and whooped his ass, so he finally arrives, and the look on his face is amazing. It's a proper, oh man, I'm gonna get it for this stuff. So much so, I actually felt a little bit sorry for him, although I still don't get how he did this. It could also be one of the reasons his character was done within a year, not like it was working out anyway. Number 5, The Undertaker at Super Showdown 2019. I suppose Goldberg should be thrown into this as well, because man, it was not good. Both guys know this too and have spoken about it openly after the fact, but honestly, I'm not sure how any of this happened. Well, no, that's not entirely true. For some reason, Bill thought it would still be a good idea to headbutt a locker before matches to get himself all hyped up, and surprise, surprise, he went and concussed himself. This should have been enough to cancel the thing, but nope, it went on as planned, and saw 2 legends of the ring fall on their heads and almost kill each other. I'm not joking when I say it's genuinely terrifying. It's why it ends with a simple choke slam, as they just needed to get the hell out of there, and Taker's face after this is an absolute peach. He could not look more pissed off if he tried, because he knows. Of course he did. He's been doing this for 30 years. It almost feels like he wants to shout, "What the hell are we doing?" Given the word catastrophic has been used to describe this. Well, that just sums it up. Number 4, Edge at the 2020 Royal Rumble. Right, let's cut to a more happy occasion, because Edge was never meant to wrestle again. The real-life Adam Copeland had been told in 2011 that one more bump could end his life, so WWE made the decision for him. You're retired, go and say goodbye. It was heartbreaking. Fast forward 9 years and a lot had changed, and after falling off his bike and realizing he was okay, the rated R superstar dared to dream. After consulting several doctors, it turned out he was okay thanks to the magic of time, so bam! He had to make a comeback and finish the gig on his terms. It is just the best story. He picked the 2020 Rumble because everybody loves a surprise entrance, and man, as soon as the crowd heard "You Think You Know Me," they lost their minds, as did I. It's just perfect. You also see Mr. Copeland's face, who cannot hide how happy, stunned, and emotional he is about all of this. Without wanting to oversell it, it'll hit you right in the tum-tum. It's also just lovely to share this together. If he had burst out crying, all of us would have understood. Edge has been on a tear ever since then too, so always remember, my friends, believe in your dreams, and they will believe in you. Number 3, Daniel Bryan on Raw in April 2014. So this one ties in, and Bryan himself has called 2014 as one of the best and worst times of his life. Obviously, he had the highest of highs when he won the WWE title at WrestleMania 30, which is an all-time moment, and he married his true love, Brie Bella. It was a good 1-2 punch. Then weeks later, he was forced to vacate his championship due to a neck injury, and soon after that, he lost his friend Connor Michalak. That is quite the roller coaster. Sadly, more was to come for the American Dragon, because after the couple had gone on their honeymoon, they returned to the news that Daniel's father had unexpectedly passed away. As ever, given he was a wrestler, he was planned for a segment on Raw with Kane and Stephanie McMahon, and while he was given every allowance to pull out, he decided the show must go on. He therefore gutted it out, although it was cut down so Bryan could get home as soon as possible. And while he did put on the bravest of all faces, you can tell something wasn't right, even more so when a few tears rolled down his cheek. It will just wrench at your heart to know what he is going through, and the fact he did this in order to not shortchange the audience. Just sums him up. Bryan Danielson is indeed the GOAT, not just for what he does inside a ring. Number 2, Jeff Jarrett at Over the Edge 1999. So the Over the Edge pay-per-view is one of the worst moments in wrestling history. This is the night when Owen Hart tragically lost his life, and the fact the show wasn't stopped is still mystifying. Some things are way more important. As we did keep things ticking over, it meant Jeff Jarrett had to cut a promo after Owen's accident had taken place. Surprise, surprise, the man is a mess. Of course he is. It baffles me that anybody thought this was a good idea. All Jeff knew too was that Hart was in a very bad way, so his anxiety and emotions must have been through the roof. The sheer worry of that. Deborah is also totally distressed, and the fact they're both crying sums it up. This is horrible to watch, even more difficult because again, there was just no need. Number 1, Dean Ambrose at Old School Raw 2014. So given that some of these have been pretty heavy, let's end with a fun one. the legend that is Jon Moxley. He was then Dean Ambrose and was making his way through WWE, and eventually ended up in the main event of the 2014 Old School Raw, after Roman Reigns had sealed the victory because, of course, him, Seth Rollins and Dean came together to hit the triple powerbomb on Punk, when out came Jake Roberts. This made sense given what the show was, and it was quite the moment. Jake hadn't been seen on Raw for 9 years, and the interruption allowed the good guys to fight back and leave the Shield laying. As Ambrose had been smashed with the GTS2, Roberts thought this would be a great time to drape his snake onto the man. Look, I know that sounded dodgy, but stop being that guy. Instead, focus on Dean's face, who quite clearly is loving the fact that one of his heroes was doing this, and he just has the biggest, goofiest smile the whole time. It's so good because the joy is right there to see. Some negative Nancy's always want to get upset because this was ruining the character, but flub that. Nothing better in wrestling than these moments. The man looks so content with life. Long may it continue. Not many other times WWE stars broke kayfabe because of real emotion. Make sure you let us know in the comments below before you like the video, share the video, and damn it, subscribe. Then you can head over to whatculture.com where you can read more articles like this with your eyes. You can follow us on social media at WhatCultureWWE and Simon316. But more importantly than that, make sure you give yourself some TLC today. Know that you're looking great and just have a superb 24 hours.